Massive, wildly imaginative anime-style world today. And what's really fascinating about this source material, Tides of Ethereum, specifically its opening chapter, The Sea That Breathes, is that the environment itself isn't just some pretty backdrop. Oh no, it literally acts as the main character. If you're a fan of stories packed with a staggering sense of scale, wonder, and deep ancient mystery, well, you're absolutely gonna love seeing how this universe is put together. In a world where the ocean breathes, there exists a map that no one can read. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. This is such a brilliant opening hook because it instantly establishes this massive sense of scale and wonder. By describing the ocean as breathing, it's telling us right off the bat, the water is alive. And a map no one can read, that perfectly sets up the ultimate mystery, letting us know this world is impossibly vast, entirely unknown, and the knowledge of how to even navigate it has been completely lost to time. So let's move into Section 1, a living, breathing ocean, and specifically the rules of Atherion. Now, to really grasp this universe, we've got to understand the ground rules of this living environment before we even meet our heroes. And that brings us to the core concept holding the whole thing together, the sea's memory. The source establishes a pretty massive fundamental rule right away. The ocean is not empty. It's an ancient, sentient entity that holds on to its own history. We actually learn this through a character named Grandma Rhea, who delivers this chilling warning that the world is no longer made for humans. Defining the ocean as something that remembers totally flips your standard fantasy setting on its head. It's not just water to sail across, right? It's a breathing, active participant with its own grudges, secrets, and ancient power. Picture this setting in your mind. You have a small, drifting island village, totally cobbled together from wood, intertwined roots, and coral. Up above, there are these bizarre, beautiful birds with glass-like wings gliding through the air. And down below, the soft waves are glowing with this faint, bioluminescent blue light. It's a gorgeous, sensory-rich image, for sure. But it also really highlights the fragile, floating status quo of our characters. I mean, they are literally adrift on a massive, glowing, sentient entity. They're tiny, and the world is just unfathomably huge. Moving on to Section 2, let's look at the characters of the Tides and this clash of innocent ambition versus ancient danger. So, let's meet the main players who are really driving the core tension here. On one side, you've got Kai. He's 17, bursting with energy, and just incredibly curious. His defining trait is this bright, almost naive wonder. He looks out at that endless drifting sea and just grins, declaring he wants to see every single island out there. But then, on the exact opposite side, we have Grandma Rhea. She's quiet, wise, and highly, highly cautious. While Kai looks at the glowing ocean and sees beauty, Grandma Rhea looks at it and sees a serious threat. She reminds him that, yeah, everyone talks about exploring, but very few people ever actually return. This clash of ideologies, it's the absolute perfect engine to drive our story forward. All right, into Section 3. The floating compass awakens. This is our catalyst. Suddenly, that peaceful drifting we just talked about is completely shattered by a violent tremor. A colossal shadow, literally half whale, half mountain, rises up from the depths. And we get to see three totally distinct reactions to this inciting incident. First up, the islanders. They're surprised, terrified, and instantly defensive as this massive thing moves beneath them. Then there's the ocean monster itself. It's covered in glowing moss, it's ancient, and according to the source material, it's actually testing the humans. And finally, we have the outsiders. There's this sleek black ship cutting through the waves, captained by a woman named Vera. But instead of attacking, she's calm, she's dangerous, and she simply orders her crew to wait and observe. She knows the ocean is about to test the boy. True to his hyper-energetic nature, Kai doesn't run. Instead, he dives straight into the water, totally ignoring his grandmother's warnings. Just imagine that sudden, eerie underwater silence that replaces all the chaos happening up on the surface. As he plunges deeper into that faintly glowing blue water, he finds these submerged, ancient ruins, completely covered in glowing symbols. And right at the center of it all, a wildly spinning, floating compass. This is the exact moment everything flips. He reaches out and makes contact with the artifact. And the absolute second he touches it, boom, we are hit with this explosive montage of wild, impossible visions. Flash, islands made entirely of raging storms. Flash, massive forests literally walking across the oceans. Flash, colossal creatures carrying entire bustling cities on their backs. And then a terrifying, giant eye opening deep, deep beneath the sea. The sheer scale and rapid-fire pacing of these visions expand the universe in literally a matter of seconds. It shows us exactly what's at stake and just how incredibly alien this world truly is. When Kai finally bursts back out of the water, gasping for air, everything has changed. His eyes are now glowing with that same faint blue light of the waves. Suddenly, the raging sea around him just calms. Even that colossal mountain whale monster bows its moss-covered head in submission. Kai turns to his completely shocked grandmother and says, "The ocean, it's talking." I mean, wow. He hasn't just found some magical trinket, he's formed a direct, mystical connection to the sentient sea itself. Which brings us to Section 4, A World Beyond Maps, the true scale of the journey. So, as we zoom out from Kai's floating village, the source gives us a sweeping look at the, frankly, impossible environments waiting just beyond the horizon. I mean, look at these beautifully terrifying locations. We've got desert islands where the sand itself shifts and turns into beasts, frozen islands patrolled by giant wolves made of solid crystal, jungles where the trees actually whisper secrets to anyone brave enough to listen, sky islands literally chained to lightning storms so they don't float away, and the scariest of all, these silent dark zones where ships just vanish without a single sound. Honestly, I've got to ask you, which of these insane islands would you dare to explore first? It's the kind of world building that just instantly grabs your imagination. Back up on the surface, the true journey is kicking off, pitting two very different forces against each other. You have Kai's bright, explosive awakening. He's standing at the edge of his drifting island, smiling, completely fueled by this new determination. He declares that if the sea remembers, well, he's going to become someone the ocean remembers forever. But then, creeping in the background is the dark threat of Captain Vera. Her ship, with sails shimmering like liquid metal, is slowly approaching. She's watching him, calm, incredibly dangerous, and quietly notes to herself, "So, the sea chose him." This just became interesting. Every island tells a story, every creature guards a secret, and every explorer risks becoming part of the ocean's memory. This quote perfectly nails why this specific style of world building is so effective. It reminds us that any truly great adventure requires the characters to risk absolutely everything. The ocean here isn't just a location, it's a living archive of everyone who tried to conquer it and failed. To uncover the secrets of a world like Etherion, you have to be willing to bet your entire existence. And that brings us to the ultimate question at the heart of this explainer. As Kai steps off the edge of the known map and into the breathing, sentient waters of Etherion, is he going to become a legend that shapes the future of this world? Or will he inevitably become just another tragic, forgotten piece of the ocean's memory? It's a totally mapless journey. The sails are officially set, and I don't know about you, but I absolutely cannot wait to see where the tide takes us. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive, and as always, keep your eyes on